First You Think is a not-for-profit ministry of the First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. Support us at ucdsm.org today.
You made it through. Slightly battered, slightly tired at times, but still a community in every sense of the word. And community is what Flower Communion is all about, community and the beauty that you find there. Now, before there's panic in the aisles, I'm going to tell you, I am not going to tell you the story of Norbert Chapik again. I'm deeply sympathetic to the sheer number of people over the years who've offered me increasingly large bribes, not to repeat that story repeatedly. It's a great one, though. If you're interested, please Google it. Fascinating story about a gentleman killed by the Nazis for his beliefs. What I am going to talk about today is the meaning behind Flower Sunday. As you use, we don't have a bunch of sacred rituals. Most of us light chalices, but it's not required. We have ordination and installation for ministers, child dedications and weddings and funerals and installations, all of which vary incredibly, and they mean different things to different people. We have the water service, which draws us back together. And then we have Flower Communion, designed to give us that moment of witnessing the beauty of the community being together. I don't take the word communion lightly. It's a painful word for too many people to take it lightly. Comes from Latin, communio means sharing in common. In Greek, the word is convivia, which also is translated as fellowship. It's where we get convivial. Communion is designed to draw a community closer. As a church, as a family of common principles, as a group recognizing their own shared humanity. Predates Christianity. It used to mean a business partnership. It was used for the fellowship of life in marriage, to spiritual relationship with some divinity, to camaraderie between friends. It's a deeply meaningful coming together, and that's what we celebrate today. It's a ritual that reminds us of who we are and what we mean to one another. So when you came here today, whether or not you were carrying a plant or a flower, it's okay. Some of us come with more. Some of us come with less. Some of us come with nothing but our own bodies. And everyone is equally welcomed here. No two flowers or plants are the same, but they're all beautiful. The tall, the short, the slender, the delicate, the thick-stemmed, the hardy. Some smell lovely, others just smell. Red and pink and purple and gold and green and green and green. Through our plants, through the plants, we bring ourselves to the altar, our hearts to the community. Like us, they live for a while, but eventually, most wither and grow small and return to the soil that created them. They're beautiful because they're fleeting. They're beautiful because we share in their life and in their death. We bring them here in our own hands, in human hands, and we carry them to the table for ourselves. This wasn't an accident when Chapik created that. It wasn't designed to just be interesting. It was because you matter. Each and every one of you matter. We signify through our actions that we are here through our own free will. No fear of God, no fear of humanity, no act of law, no demand of state forces us to be here. And the word communion, though filled with tension and resonating with images of other places and other religions, well, it's our word too. We are in communion with one another. We share not a symbolic meal, but we share ourselves. When I was writing this sermon, friends sent me a picture of rushes growing down in the mountains in Ravenna, Kentucky, near where I'm from, and a link to hear him and his friends playing a song called Green Grow the Rushes, Oh. It was on mountain dulcimer and psaltery and violin. And that picture with the morning mountain fog and the green and the melody, it was incredible. The words to the song are strange, and there are a lot of versions, like any folk song. The ones I heard say, I'll sing you one, oh, green grow the rushes, oh, where is your one, oh? One is one and all alone and evermore shall be, oh. Somebody wrote these words around the 12th century. And that folk song grew to have about 12 verses, sometimes more, sometimes less, sometimes better, sometimes worse. It's popular across the entire English-speaking world at different times. And no one knows what the original author was talking about. Interpretations and verses have ranged from biblical to astrological to confusing. But it made me think about our community. As a church, you are one. Independent, self-controlled, ever more in charge of yourselves and your vision of what you can be in the world. One is one, and ever more shall be. But within that oneness, those same green rushes grow, each of us. We grow wildly upward or sideways. We grow at our own rate. We stand together against the wind and the rain and the fog, and yet each of us is independent. Single stalks of green and brown and gold against the green hills of our background. When the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940, they found Norbert Čapek's gospel of the inherent worth and beauty of every person to be, as Nazi court records show, too dangerous to the Reich for him to be allowed to live. Dr. Čapek was sent to Dachau, where he was killed in the gas chambers, and they were right. The idea of a community made of individuals, each in control of themselves, each seeing beauty in their own way, it has survived and triumphed long, long after the last shouting voices of the original Nazi stormtroopers and jackbooted thugs faded. And it survives today. It survives even when things like Texas happen. It survives in a political landscape that is horrid. It survives when times are tough and when you're scared in times of transition. Remember that you are a community filled with beautiful people. You are a community who will survive and thrive. On the green rolling hills of the world, this congregation stands like a shock of rushes, beautifying it. May you always grow. May you stand tall, and may you see the beauty you bring. Now, in the words of Dr. Čapek, I bless the flowers and plants we've brought today. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, the messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversity of thought and gift to be one in desire and affection and devotion. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of the most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of one another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship. But may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the effort of all of us is needed to do thy work in the world.